Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
And breaking news as 2 roads are closed after deadly crashes early this morning. A car flipped during a crash in Raleigh, killing the driver, and a motorcyclist is dead after a crash in Harnett County. The questions we're asking investigators this morning.
And it was a hot one yesterday, another one today with temperatures in the 90s. I'll show you how many more days we'll have this unseasonable heat. And push for funding. Teachers, parents, and students plan walk-ins at schools in Chapel Hill. Their message of public funding for public schools. We are cruising through the week, and we are at a Thursday and the start of a new month. Happy May 1st. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, May Day. Here it is, right? And we're really calling for the warning signals with the heat this week. Not just warm, but
yesterday was steamy.
Hot. Yeah, Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Are we getting another one today?
And we tied the record yesterday at 90. Today's record is 92. We'll see around 90 again, so very close to it. It's a fairly quiet start this morning. We're going to start off with a mix of sun and clouds. Our dew point is higher. Now, if this were summer, we would put that monkey meter at nice, and it's not terrible out there, but you can definitely notice the difference. 72, also about 5 degrees warmer than it was yesterday. So we're at tolerable with the monkey meter really right now. It's not likely to climb to steamy, but we were just 2 days ago down at refreshing, so it's definitely a difference for us this morning. 63 in Roxborough, but 72 in Durham, 65 in Fayetteville and in Goldsboro. And this afternoon feels much like yesterday. We do stay dry today, a high of 90 degrees, but tomorrow we move into a wetter pattern. I'll show you how rain could affect your weekend coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Back to that breaking news. A person is dead after a crash on Trawick Road in Raleigh. This happened about 1:30 this morning. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is on that scene for us right now. And Kelsey, part of Trawick Road still closed.
Yes, Jeff, it is. And from what we can tell here, Trawick Road is closed near Sedgefield Pines Lane. But we're still trying to figure out the extent of that closure. But you can see still an active scene here. But from where we are, we can't see the extent, again, of that closure. But we'll take you to some video now from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. We did receive an update from Raleigh Police. They say officers arrived to this scene just after 1:30 this morning. And when they arrived, they found a driver dead. Police say this was a single vehicle crash. So we're working to find out what led up to this. Of course, this road again is shut down here at the crash site, but we'll be sure to keep you updated on when it reopens. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And more breaking news. Part of US 401 is closed south of Fuquay Varina after a crash killed a motorcyclist. The crash happened near Rawls Club Road about 2 o'clock this morning. Investigators say the rider was speeding and ran off the road. We're working to learn that person's name.
This morning, teachers in Chapel Hill and Carrboro are holding walk-in demonstrations, calling for better funding for public education. The Chapel Hill Carrboro Association of Educators argues the state has fallen short in funding public schools. They want Orange County to pick up the slack. The issue of state funding for public schools has special significance in this district right now. They've had to cut positions because of the budget. The demonstrations are scheduled to start at 7:30 this morning.
As early as today, the State Board of Elections could switch to GOP control. Republicans tried to shift control of the board away from the governor, who is a Democrat. A trial court says this is unconstitutional, but an appeals court overturned that decision yesterday. WRAL state government reporter Will Doran explains why that's a big deal for the state Supreme Court race between Jefferson Griffin and Allison Riggs. And our NC Capitol team will be closely following developments in this story throughout the day. You can look for updates on WRAL News from 4 to 7:30 tonight.
We're working to learn if anyone was injured in this crash on I-85. This happened last night near Henderson. The interstate was closed for a while between the Poplar Creek Road exit and the Rune Creek Road exit while troopers investigated. It's not clear how many people were involved in the crash.
Another Star Bar employee is facing charges, and arrest warrants have been issued for 2 others. The charges are from April 13th, when vehicles in the parking lot were shot. Darius McDougal was arrested yesterday, charged with drinking after hours and an additional charge as well. The ALE also issued warrants for Laquan Carter and Brianna Eisler. Last week, 2 other employees were arrested, and they are both expected back in court in May.
It's a new era at the DMV with the new leader taking over the highly criticized department. Paul Tyne owns an insurance agency. He previously served 2 terms in the North Carolina House. For months, 5 on Your Side has reported on long delays, staffing shortages, and outdated technology. Failures that largely fell on the shoulders of the last commissioner, Wayne Goodwin, who decided not to reapply for his job earlier this year. Tyne takes over on May 6th.
Vice President J.D. Vance cast the tie-breaking vote, killing a Democratic motion on a resolution to end the national emergency used to impose President Trump's tariffs. 3 Republicans, Senators Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, and Rand Paul of Kentucky, all joined the Democrats in support of the resolution. Even if it had passed, the measure likely would not have been taken up in the GOP-controlled House.
UNC football coach Bill Belichick is defending his girlfriend Jordan Hudson after she interrupted a CBS interview. Belichick says the interview was veering off agreed upon topics. He also says they have been open about meeting on a flight to Palm Beach in 2021. UNC student Jake Estelo couldn't be more excited for the upcoming football season, but he says UNC did not agree to the Belichick-Hudson package deal.
You don't want her to make the coaching decisions. You don't want her to call the shots. You want Bill Belichick to do it without the influence that she may be giving him.
Some students on campus tell WRAL they don't care who Belichick dates as long as it doesn't interfere with the football program. A CBS spokesperson pushed back on the coach's claims that the reporter veered off topic by saying, when we agreed to speak with Mr. Belichick, it was for a wide-ranging interview. There were no preconditions or limitations to this conversation.
Alexander Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals will be the Carolina Hurricanes' next opponents in round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Caps advanced, beating the Montreal Canadiens in Game 5 of their opening round series last night, closing out that game and that series. The schedule for the second round has not yet been released for games. The Capitals will have home ice advantage, though, so the Lenovo Center will host Games 3 and 4 of the series. We'll wait for dates.
People in Fayetteville will now pay more for water and wastewater services. The city's Public Works Commission voted to raise the flat fee that users pay over the next 2 years to cover infrastructure costs. You will not see a usage rate increase. Those fees will increase $3.25 both this year and next to maintain and upgrade pipes.
Tonight, Wake County Public Schools will name its Teacher of the Year. The award will be given out during a banquet at the Raleigh Convention Center. All school-level teachers of the year and the school system's 4 first-year teachers of the year will be honored before the big prize is announced. We're expecting that announcement about 8:45 tonight.
It is 4:37, a lasting memory. An interchange on I-440 dedicated to a local man killed in a boating accident. The honor received by his family.
And less practiced drivers. A bill would get teen drivers on the road earlier and help the DMV's backlog. Why some say it comes at the risk of public safety.
And taking a live look at downtown Cary Park. Temperatures could approach record highs today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tells us when storms will work their way into our area.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It's 4:41, a pretty start. We're so excited to welcome our Goldsboro camera back. It was out for a bit, and so we're happy to have a good look at what's happening there in Goldsboro now going forward. We do have clear skies, so right here in our backyard, we have the top of the tower lit in blue this morning. You might see a little bit of cloud cover, but generally more clear than cloudy this morning. 66 in Holly Springs, 65 in Fayetteville, it's 67 in Cary, and 70 degrees in Garner. So it's warm out there, mid-60s to right around 70 as you're heading out the door. So you may not even need a jacket. I came in jacketless today, so walking the dog this morning feels nice and comfortable. Hot this afternoon, hitting 90. We probably won't quite make the record of 92. Starting tomorrow, we move into a wetter pattern. We'll check that out coming up.
An Oklahoma man has died after being swept away by flooding. Authorities say his vehicle was pulled off the road by the storm waters. It comes as much of the state reports record rainfall. The flooding has breached the Waxoma Dam. Authorities say it is being closely monitored.
Getting teenage drivers on the road faster. The new proposal making its way through the North Carolina House hopes to take some pressure off overwhelmed DMVs in our state. WRAL's Flynn Snyder reports others want lawmakers to pump the brakes a bit.
Well, this bill could allow teen drivers to get behind the wheel sooner. Supporters say it'll help cut down on DMV delays, while critics say it puts safety at risk. As teens get on the road, lawmakers say getting a DMV appointment isn't so speedy.
They shouldn't be penalized for government inefficiency.
It's why Union County Representative David Willis is sponsoring a bill that he says will cut down on the number of people seeking appointments. Right now, North Carolina has a graduated licensing system, which puts restrictions on teens learning how to drive. The bill proposes cutting some driving log requirements, eliminating the need for teens to get a letter from their school vouching for them, and allow teens to apply for a Level 3 license online. It would also temporarily reduce the mandated driving period for teens with a learner's permit from 9 months to 6. It's a measure that got stiff pushback from lawmakers and state officials.
Having long learner periods is the secret sauce to keeping young drivers safe.
Mark Ezell heads the governor's highway safety program. His office says even a month reduction means an approximately 2 to 3% increase in the number of 16 and 17-year-olds involved in fatal or serious injury crashes.
Any reduction in that compromises their ability to be safe drivers on the road. It's going to compromise their lives. It's going to compromise other lives.
For Mom Jennifer Rowland, reducing the required driving period could mean an easier time for parents.
We're trying to get an appointment for her to get her level 1 license right now. And parents know their child best. If they feel like they're ready for that next step, or if they feel like they need longer, I think it should be up to the parent.
Change is now possible for teen drivers as frustration with the DMV intensifies. Flynn Snyder, WRAL News, Raleigh.
The shortened learner's permit driving period would go into effect once the bill is passed. Other changes would take effect October 1st.
Retaliation, wrongful firing, and sexual discrimination. 2 St. Augustine's trustees faced a federal lawsuit yesterday from the university's former president. Christine McPhail filed the lawsuit against former chairman James Perry and vice chair Brian Boulware. Both are still on the board. She says the 2 spearheaded a movement that eventually led to her firing. Boulware, who is now chair, declined to comment on the lawsuit.
Covering Wake County, a groundbreaking is happening this afternoon for a new park in Holly Springs. Eagles Landing Park is expected to open in 2027. It'll be located on Cass Holt Road, right across from Holly Springs High School. It'll have a recreation center, a splash pad, pickleball and basketball courts, and more. The groundbreaking is happening at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
The Ava Gardner Museum in Smithfield lost a federal grant that funded the preservation of the museum's collection. The grant from the Institution of Museum and Library Science was set to be completed in August. It helped fund the work of local historians and the preservation of items including original film posters, personal scrapbooks, and more. The grant also paid for equipment needed to protect and display the items.
Wake Forest Police Department needs your help supporting one of its officers' families. Danielle Murray, wife of Sergeant Kevin Murray, was recently diagnosed with an aggressive form of breast cancer. To help raise money for her treatment, the department is holding a benefit barbecue. It is happening Wednesday, May 7th at Wake Forest Fire Station number 1. Plates are $15. No pre-orders will be accepted, but eat-in and drive-through takeout options are available. The police department has also set up a GoFundMe to support the family.
The State Department of Transportation is honoring the life of a local man who had an impact in North Carolina. They dedicated the interchange 440 and Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh as the Conan Morgan Interchange. Morgan was killed in 2023 in a boating crash. He was a political strategist and was once the president of the Young Democrats of North Carolina. Morgan went to Gardner Magnet High and graduated from NC State. His family shared what the honor means to them.
The interchange being named in his honor means so much to us and our family, not just because of the recognition, but because it reflects how he lived, always moving things forward, always connecting people, and always finding a way to build something lasting.
The DOT passed a resolution for this designation back in January. It's a reminder of Morgan's service to the community.
The annual fair at Fort Bragg is officially underway. Families can enjoy carnival rides, live music, and much more. A visitor pass is not required to enter the fairgrounds off Bragg Boulevard. Tickets are $16. The gates open at 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, and the fair runs through May 11th. Getting off to a steamy start for some of these activities outside. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. How long can it last before we get a little storm rounding up in here?
Hey, just until tomorrow. So yesterday we hit 90, probably going to hit 90 again today. And here's why. We have this warm front that's north of us. So we are on the warm side of the system. And we have a flow coming up out of the south. And today stays dry. But we're watching this low and the storms along it. And that gets closer to us tomorrow, bringing a chance of some late day storms. And then the front stalls over us on Saturday. And then a low develops to our west and just sits over us well into next week. And so we move into a much different feeling weather pattern. Let's talk about this next weather maker. Right now, we're watching that warm front. It's to our north. It keeps us dry there, but it also keeps us hot. So dry and hot today, and then some late day storms on Friday. And then we have a severe threat on Saturday that we'll be walking through over the next little while. Right now, we're taking a live look at downtown Raleigh, where the temperature is 72. It's a good bit warmer than it was yesterday, around 5 or 6 degrees warmer in some places. We'll hit mid 80s by lunchtime. Right now, though, it's 64 in Roxborough, 72 in Durham, 67 in Southern Pines and in Rocky Mount. And a little bit closer to the Triangle area, we're seeing 72 in Raleigh, 69 in Garner, Apex sitting at 66, 67 in Cary. So anywhere from the upper 60s to right around 70. 90 again today in Raleigh and Durham, Fayetteville 91. The humidity should be very similar to yesterday. It's not going to feel just like summer because the humidity will be in the low 60s instead of low 70s. Our record high for today at RDU is 92, so we probably won't reach it. Same thing in Fayetteville. It's 94 and the high is 91. So we're close to it though. 77 is our normal high, but we do get back to that over the weekend and into early next week as we change up our weather pattern. Did it feel really warm in April? Yep, warmest April on record, 6 degrees above normal there at RDU for April. Our muggy meter sitting at 61. In the 90s in the summer, we sit right there at tropical and it feels really miserable, but that's not going to be the case. We're going to keep it tolerable for the next several days. We get into the rain starting Friday and it lasts, look at that, all the way through Monday. Of course, Race for the Cure is Saturday morning. We'll talk about whether it'll be wet or not coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. One of the best.
Dix Park is getting national attention for its serene green space, where it ranked among the country's best city parks.
Plus, he's back in action. Amazon's reboot of Roadhouse gets a sequel. Who we've learned will be calling the shots this time around.
.454 is the time right now, so we'll give you this live look. Franklin Street intersection in Chapel Hill. Lovely start to our morning. Clear out there and real warm. You can crank up the volume and prepare to face the nights who say me. The two classic comedies returning to the big screen.
And a reboot gets a sequel. David Daniel has details in today's Hollywood Minute.
I wanted to capture the sights, the sounds, the smells of a hard-working rock band on the road.
This is Spinal Tap is getting an encore in theaters. The original rock mockumentary returns for 3 days, July 5th through the 7th, in celebration of the film's 41st anniversary, ahead of an all-new sequel arriving in September.
Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberry.
It's been half a century since Monty Python and the Holy Grail debuted on the big screen. The absurd Arthurian adventure is back for its 50th anniversary, Sunday, May 4th, Tuesday, May 6th, and Wednesday, May 7th. Locations and showtimes for both films at fathomentertainment.com.
How do you back up a challenge that you need to meet?
Guy Ritchie's next challenge is a reunion with Jake Gyllenhaal, who starred in Ritchie's 2023 film, The Covenant. Ritchie is set to direct the sequel to last year's Roadhouse. Gyllenhaal is on board to return as the bouncer at a Florida Keys bar. No word yet on the plot, but it'll undoubtedly include a brawl or two. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Under the radar, Alec Baldwin's Rust will release in select theaters tomorrow. The film's first full-length trailer released yesterday. This comes 3 years after an on-set shooting incident that killed a cinematographer and injured the movie's director. The film's Armorer is currently serving 18 months for her role in the shooting. The movie is a Western set in 1880s Wyoming and follows a recently orphaned boy who accidentally kills a rancher and is set to hang.
Dix Park in Raleigh is on USA Today's list for 10 best city parks. It came in at number 10. The Raleigh Park is 308 acres, filled with one of the largest adventure playgrounds in the Southeast. Dog parks, 5 acres of summer sunflowers, and incredible works of art. It's been home to the Dreamville Festival for the last 5 years. Later this month, Gibson Play Plaza will open for families to enjoy. Parks in Florida, Texas, Alabama, and South Carolina also made the list. Calendar changes. Today, lawmakers will take up several bills that would have a big impact on public schools. Ahead at 5, how it could reshape your child's time in class.
And a risky run accused this local man of leading law enforcement on a chase and taking them past a potential homemade explosive device. The moments that led to the dangerous dash.
Plus, beyond hazing, a group of high school athletes in New York could face charges for a stunt gone too far. Next, why officials are saying this incident could have been far worse.